Hello guys, thanks for watching this tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how to do these two effects. First of all is going to be this one I call end of the world effect, and the other one is going to be this energy shield, bubble shield. So it's going to be two manipulations in one. So let's begin. I'm gonna delete all these layers to start from 0. So let's open a new file. Go to File, New, and our dimensions are going to be 1200 and 800. Click OK. Fill this with black, and now we're gonna bring our first image. It's going to be this one right here. It's the road image. Let's resize it to fit the canvas and click OK. We're gonna rasterize this layer by right clicking it and click rasterize layer. Now we're gonna bring our second image. It's going to be this one right here, our lightning image, and we're gonna resize it to fit the canvas and click OK. Right click the lightning layer to rasterize it and click rasterize layer. Now we're gonna add some mask to this lightning image by going right here on this icon right here which says add layer mask. Just click it and we have a mask, a thumbnail mask. Now we're gonna go to the brush tool and we're going to get a size like this one is gonna be like 400 soft brush, and we're gonna delete right here this area, the black area. We're gonna delete it. So just brush this part, make sure you have black on the foreground, and start deleting this part. Now that you have that, we're gonna change our blend mode to soft light. Let's duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl J, and we're gonna add some blur to it. So go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and our radius is going to be 10 pixels. Click OK. Now we're gonna merge all layers together by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E, and we're gonna add some radial blur to this layer. So let's go to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, and the amount is going to be 24. The blur method is going to be zoom and quality based. Click OK. The blend mode is going to be soft light, and we're gonna duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl J, and we're done with our first manipulation, our first image. So let's group all these layers together by press and hold Shift and click on the first layer right here, and click Ctrl G to group them. So now we're gonna press Ctrl Alt E and E to make all the layers on this layer right here. So now you can delete this group or save it, do whatever you want. I'm gonna delete it because I don't need it anymore. We have all the effects on this image, on this layer. So I'm gonna call this background. Okay, now let's begin with the second manipulation. So let's bring the other image that is the woman. Resize it, put it like on. I think it looks good right there. So now we're gonna rasterize this layer. Right click and rasterize. Double click on the layer to add some effect, or just go to this FX icon. So click here and click on inner glow. Click on this square to change the color, and the color is going to be DF470C. Click OK. Our blend mode is going to be soft light, opacity 75, and the size going to be 21. So now you see that we have like a reflection of the explosion. Let's untake this one, and you see the difference, like a red reflection. So let's add a new layer below the woman. So I'm gonna press and hold Control, and I'm gonna click on this new layer icon to add the new layer below the woman. And I'm gonna make the shadow for the woman. So I'm gonna grab my brush tool, make it smaller, and I'm gonna make the shadow. I'm gonna lower the opacity around 90. I'm gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm gonna put 8 pixels. So click OK. Now we want to make this part, we want this part to match the shadow. So go back to the woman layer, click the burn tool, click on shadows, range shadows, exposure 33 or 35, and just burn these parts to make it darker. Like so. Go to the shadow, let's name it shadow. Go to the shadow layer and lower the opacity. Get the brush tool, lower the opacity around 27, 30, and let's make this part dark. Just take your time until you think it looks good. Then I think it looks good. Now we're gonna select the woman layer. So go to the ellipse tool, click it, and make our circle. Hold shift and draw a circle. So now go to the tools and choose direct selection tool and draw a rectangle right here on the lower part to select this one right here, and we're gonna click and move this a little bit to the top. So hold shift and click and move until it's a flat bottom, like so. Click on the path selection tool and move the circle somewhere there. Now we're gonna create a new layer. Go to the new layer icon, make a new layer and name it clouds. Make sure you have black on the foreground and white on the background. So let's go to filter, render and clouds. Press Control F to randomize the clouds. I think that looks good. Now we're gonna go to paths right here on this paths palette, and we're gonna click on this circle. It's called load path as selection. Click this one and we have our path selected. Go back to layers and add a mask layer. Click on the mask layer to add a mask. Now we're gonna liquefy this clouds. So click on the clouds thumbnail, go to filter, liquefy, and choose this one right here, blow tool, and make the brush size as your circle. Brush density is going to be 100 and brush rate 80. So click and we're gonna move our brush up and down like 4 or 5 times while holding the click button. So click, move up, down, like 4 or 5, and yeah, when you're satisfied, just click OK. If you don't see your background image, just click down here where it says show backdrop to show your background. So click OK when you're done with your liquefying image. So if you don't get a result like this one, just go back and try again. So we're gonna change our blend mode to soft light. Now we're gonna add a new layer and name it clouds 2. And we're gonna do the same. Go to filter, render, clouds, and press Ctrl F to randomize. Go to the paths palette, click on the work path layer, and click this circle to make a selection. Go back to the layers path and click add layer mask. Make sure you have selected the clouds thumbnail and not the mask. So click the thumbnail, filter, liquefy, and do the same. Click and move up and down like 4 or 5 times. Then click OK. And this one is gonna be, our blend mode is going to be to multiply. Let's add a new layer and name it clouds 3. And let's do the same. Let's go to filter, render, clouds, randomize it, go to paths palette, click on the work path layer, click this circle to make the selection, go back to layers palette, add a mask layer mask, go to filter. First of all, make sure you have the clouds layer selected, thumbnail, go to filter, liquify, and do the same. Click and move up and down 4 or 5 times. Click OK. And this is gonna be blend mode to soft light. Now let's go back to our clouds tool. I forgot to name these clouds tool. And click on the layer mask. Go to the brush tool, soft brush, and the size is gonna be like 200, and delete this area to make the woman more visible. Don't forget the opacity to put it 100. So delete this area. Now let's select the 3 layers. Click on this one right here, hold shift and click the clouds 3 layer. Now press Ctrl and G to group them together, and let's name it all clouds. Now we're gonna add a mask layer to the group. Go to the brush tool and we're gonna erase this part like so. So let's open up our group layer. Hold Ctrl and click on this layer mask on the mask thumbnail to make a selection. Now you can close the group and add a new layer. Fill this selection with white by pressing Ctrl backspace and put fill to 0. Now deselect the layer, Ctrl D, and double click this layer. First of all, let's name this layer glow. Now double click it, click on outer glow and leave everything like it is. Click OK. Now we're gonna right click on this FX word, so right click it and choose create layer. Now you can delete this layer, the glow layer, delete it. And we're gonna put this into color dodge. So now we're gonna put this layer into a group. Press Ctrl G to group this outer glow layer. Add a new layer mask to the group, and we're gonna choose the brush tool and we're gonna delete some of the inside. Something like that. Now let's go back to our background layer and add a new layer, name it shadow. Let's select our marquee tool and we're gonna make an oval shape right here, like so. This oval shape is the same size as the bubble. Fill this selection with black. Control D to deselect. Add a mask layer. Go to the gradient tool. Black to white. And we're gonna make the line from here to here. We're gonna lower the opacity around 45. And we're gonna transform the shadow. Press Ctrl T, right click, choose perspective, grab this lower end and make it a little bit bigger. Click OK. Now we're gonna make a new layer and we're gonna call this ripple. We're gonna add some clouds to this layer. Go to filter, render, clouds, and randomize it. Control F. Now let's go to filter, distort, and zigzag. The amount is going to be 100. The reach is gonna be 5 and the style pan ripples. Click OK. Now press Ctrl T to transform this layer. Hold the middle part and move it down. Just make sure these middle circles it's on the woman's feet, like so. Click OK. Now add a new layer mask. Choose the brush tool and we're gonna delete these edges because we don't like our image like this. So delete this. Like so. Duplicate this layer, the ripple layer. Ctrl J to make it more visible. We're gonna make these layers blending mode into overlay. This one right here, overlay, to make this look. So now let's add a new layer. Make an oval shape, choose the elliptical marquee tool, make an oval shape and fill with black. Now we're gonna right click and transform selection. Then we're gonna make the selection smaller. Click OK and hit delete. So now we're gonna press Ctrl and we're gonna click this thumbnail to make the selection. click on the background layer and press Ctrl J. Now we're gonna double click this layer too, bevel and emboss. Depth is going to be 776 and soften 12. And we're done. I hope you like it and see you next time.